to know.
Good day.
Thank you so much for what you do.
And for what you all do as well.
I want to know to what extent does choice or free will play into destiny?
Well, it's a combination of the two. What you're calling destiny is simply the theme you chose to explore from another level. So, as we often do, we create an analogy as if destiny is the hallway that you chose to walk down. That's the theme you will explore. This particular hallway, the way it looks, with how many doors it has and what color it has, and all of that will be the so-called destiny. But it's left up to the free will of the personality as to how you will explore that hallway. You can walk, you can run, you can fly, you can jump, you can go backwards, you can go forwards, you can be happy, you can be sad, you can look in every door, you can ignore them all. That's your free will as to how to explore the theme, because you're the one that chose the theme from a higher level. So destiny is simply your free will from a higher level, but from this level, it looks like something fixed because that's the theme you chose to explore. Again, another analogy we have often used, it's like saying, well, you have joined a chess club and you're going to play chess. You're going to follow the rules of the chess game. That's your destiny. You can't play checkers in a chess game. That's another reality. That's another destiny. But you are free to use what kind of pieces you want. You are free to use what kind of strategy you want as long as you play the game of chess. So free will, destiny go hand in hand. It's just a theme you have decided to explore, but it's up to you how to explore it.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes.
All right.
Can I ask about feeling connected on a soul level, like through multiple lives?
You do understand that all lives exist simultaneously?
Simultaneously, yes.
All right.
So being connected simultaneously with people around me on in multiple realities, all happening at once.
Yes.
Just understanding what our purpose is, how we're supposed to serve each other in this
I just told you.
Physical reality.
I told you that already. You have the same purpose that everyone has, to be yourself as fully as you can. All the different things you do are just the expressions of your purpose. Acting on your passion allows you to express the purpose of being who you are as fully as you can. And that's what you're doing for each other, as we said. You are reflecting, ideally, to each other who you really are, so that everyone can understand from that reflection how they can also be who they really are. That's what all relationships are for, is for everyone in the relationship to do their best to provide the space and the state of being that allows everyone else in the relationship the best opportunity to discover who they really are and be that person. That's your purpose.
Okay.
And that's how you help everyone, by being who you are, so you act as an example to show them, if they choose to, that there are ways for them to be who they are. Because if you can do it, they can do it. Yes?
Yeah.
You inspire by being the example.
Yes.
Does that help?
Yes. So.
Yes.
I guess I want to ask then, how do I know when I'm making a choice that I feel torn, like I've...
Yes. Can you give us an example?
Okay, yes. A few months ago, I made a choice to leave my husband.
All right.
And
why?
I felt that we were not serving each other
vibrationally compatible.
at this time. Okay.
Do you understand? Now, I'm not saying right now, without more details, that this is the case, but I'm giving you a general understanding of something. You follow me?
Okay.
Sometimes the best way to be of service in the most loving way to someone else is to show them the consequences of their choices. And if sometimes that means removing yourself physically from their proximity, because they need to understand that that's the consequences of the choice that they are making, in making themselves vibrationally incompatible with who you prefer to be, then you're giving them the choice to either change to become more vibrationally compatible, or you are giving them the freedom to find out what they believe is more vibrationally compatible for them at this point in their lives. And that's the most unconditionally loving thing that you could do in that circumstance. So it's still being of service.
Yes. I feel that way very much.
Then there you go.
I completely relate to that. But it is excruciating for me.
No, it's not. Because if it is excruciating for you, then you don't understand what we just said, and you're not doing what you just said you were doing.
Okay.
It wouldn't be excruciating if you were actually recognizing that that is actually the most loving thing you can do. Remember when we said you cannot actually be in your state of excitement and actually experience negativity? That means you're not actually in the state of excitement, you're in a negative state.
Okay.
So if you are experiencing the excruciating feeling that you're describing, that means you are still attaching fear-based beliefs and negative beliefs to the circumstance that you have chosen to experience. You need to look at why you would do that. If you understand that this is really your path, really true for you, this decision, if it is, and you can take time to examine whether it really is or not, again, you have to be honest with yourself. But if you determine that it really is, then what comes along with that choice has to be, if you want to be in alignment with your true energy, what comes along with making that choice has to be the understanding that you are actually doing the most loving thing of service you could be doing for the other person. Okay. And if you really know that, there is no way that you would have an excruciating negative feeling. You would know that you are rising above. Now, you can have compassion for what the other person might be choosing to go through, but that does not involve feeling an excruciating pain.
Okay.
It's just a recognition that they may be at a certain stage in their life, and you bless them and give them energy and unconditional love to find what they need, to allow them to make their choice. Because if you want them to allow you to make the choices you believe are best for you, you have to also unconditionally allow them to make the choices that at this point in their evolution they believe is best for them. That's the most unconditionally loving thing you can do.
Okay.
Does that make more sense to
you?
Do you feel less excruciated?
Yes, I do.
All right. And by the way, there's a little bit of a contradiction in that term.
Okay.
Pay attention to the roots of your language. Excruciating means you are no longer crucifying yourself. You understand?
Okay.
So being in an excruciated state should mean you're not feeling the pain.
Right. Yes.
Make sense?
Yes.
All right. Does this help?
Yes.
All right. Do you feel a little bit lighter?
I do.
Are you breathing a little bit more easily?
Mm-hmm.
Then that should be your first clue that you are now aligned with your true vibration. Remember, your own bags weigh nothing. If you feel weighed down, it's because you're carrying baggage that belongs to someone else. Don't be a thief and steal other people's bags. Drop them and let yourself feel lighter. And also, we remind you and everyone, once again, the first step toward enlightenment is to lighten up on yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Is this helping?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please skip on away.
Hi, Bashar.
And a you good day.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Feels
And
like a
thank you as well.
I have memories as a child of having been taken somewhere and playing with children that were not human.
Yes.
And I have always wondered, are these memories I've made up?
No.
And what were the purposes of those gatherings?
Well, the children, the hybrid children, have to be trained to interact with humans since they're ultimately going to be living among you. You have to teach them things. They have to understand what it's like to live on Earth. Remember that to you, they are alien, but to them, you are alien.
Yes.
Well, they have to understand what things are like on Earth. That doesn't mean they have to do everything the Earth way, but they do need to blend in to some degree. Because things that you take for granted that seem very obvious are not obvious to them at all. Simple things. Eating food off a plate. Why do you need a plate? Why can't you just eat the food? Why do you need a fork? Why can't I just stuff it in my mouth? Simple things.
Yeah.
So part of the idea is they are now being trained. This is the acclimatization phase of the hybrid children, where they are learning the ways of Earth societies. Yes?
Yes.
There you go.
And was there, I felt in relationship with some of those people.
Well, yes, of course.
And is there going to be will I see them again as adults?
There's a high probability, yes. We can't say it's absolute because you haven't made up your mind about every single thing in your path, but there is a high probability, yes.
Okay.
Anything else?
Yes. Any insights on how I can expand my capacity to allow more joy into my life? I tend to be drawn to really serious matters. That's my highest excitement.
Well, if that's your highest excitement, then why isn't that a joy?
It is, by and large. I guess I'm judging what I get drawn to.
Yes, and why are you doing that? Is it supposed to be something else?
I wish it was lighter sometimes.
Well, then why not find a way to allow it to be lighter, as in the conversation we just had?
Yeah.
In using your imagination to find out the way in which those serious things can actually be feeling like your joy.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
It doesn't mean you can't be focused, but if that's your joy, then that's your joy. Find the way that works for you. It's up to you. It's in your hands. It's in your control.
Yes. Okay.
Is this making sense?
I think so.
Is there something about this you need to explore a little bit more specifically or deeply?
I'm just wondering if there's anything am I really following my highest excitement? Am I feeling...
Well, how do you feel when you act on those things?
Sometimes better, sometimes not so good.
So the times that you feel not so good, as you say, isn't it part of your excitement toolkit to be shown by the reflective mirror what parts within you might be out of alignment with your excitement? Isn't that the point of discovering those things?
Absolutely.
So you can let them go? So then that's part of your excitement to discover those things, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It doesn't mean you have to feel bad about it.
Yeah.
But for the moment that you encounter it, all right, your energy may shift a little bit. But then remember what it's for and go back into joy about it because you have discovered something that doesn't work for you. That's cause for celebration because now you're aware of it and can let it go, yes?
Yes.
Doesn't that increase your joy when you think of it that way?
Absolutely.
Well, then think of it that way.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You can be miserable if you want. I'm not in any way, shape, or form taking your misery away.
I started the question by asking what would expand my joy. So no, I don't want to be miserable particularly. So I guess redefining even those times when it's not joyful or I think it's not joyful.
As part of your joy.
Yes.
Because you may always attract from time to time things you don't prefer. That's okay. Use them in the way you do prefer and you will have gotten the point. Sometimes you will attract something you don't prefer just as a measure of contrast to give you more clarity by contrast of what you do prefer. Yeah. Sometimes it's easier to see the candle frame when you surround it with darkness. Yes?
Yes.
So use it that way, and then it will transform. Your energy will go in the direction you prefer it to because you're using what you don't prefer in a way that you do prefer, which means you're not invalidating it, you're not judging it as not having a reason for being there, because everything that happens in your life has a reason for being there. You need to get used to that, because that is a fact. Things don't happen for no reason. But it may be representative of something you don't prefer. That's fine. That doesn't mean you're stuck with it. It doesn't mean you have to exist on a level that you don't prefer to exist on. It's about seeing if you know how to use what you don't prefer in a way that you do so that you can know that you've changed. You can know you've expanded instead of just going, oh, that thing showed up that I don't prefer. That must mean I'm doing something wrong. No, it doesn't. It can mean you're doing everything just right because you are ready to face that. You're ready to integrate it. You're ready to use it in a positive way. You must be strong enough for that to have shown up now. That means you must have a higher vibration for you to be able to handle this.
Wow.
Look at it that way. Isn't that the way you would prefer to look at it?
Absolutely. And you're actually answering a question I had about what happened to me after the elections, and I now live in Washington D.C. and
Oh, how exciting for you!
kind of, yes, it is. It is exciting, which is why I'm still there. And
Yes.
I chose to work in the government at the time that the elections happened.
In what branch?
I'm at the State Department.
Therefore, you should be very familiar with the idea of creating the state that you prefer.
Exactly.
If you are on the State Department.
Well, I figured I had done something wrong, that I landed in a timeline when we have who we have as a president. But I think what you're saying is it's actually a form of mastery to
Absolutely.
stay in my, and a follow-up question is, at this point, how do we all ride the rapids at the moment in balance?
The only one you need to be focused on is how do
I ride the rapids
by
in this moment?
doing exactly what we just told you. Yeah. Everything can be used in a positive way. You just have to invent a way of looking at it and a definition of looking at it that works for you.
Okay.
As we originally have said, and as you were recently told, one way of looking at it is to understand that if you are riding rapids, you get downstream much faster than you otherwise would have on a calm river. That means you're accelerating. Isn't that positive?
Yes.
Done. What else do you need to know? These rapids are helping me accelerate because I'm using them that way. So I'm going to get where I'm going much faster. Oh boy. Yes?
I guess so. That's right.
You guess so?
Well, there are people, I imagine that there are people who suffer even if I don't suffer.
But that's their choice.
Yeah.
And remember, if you don't do what's correct for you, how can you be the example for them that they don't have to suffer? If you stay in the negative state, what are you doing? Reinforcing the misery they've chosen for themselves. How does that help? You need to be the example that there is a way through it.
Yeah.
Yes?
Absolutely.
What do you think you're all here for? To be reflections to one another, to be examples to one another of what is possible, what is probable, what is really you. Be the example, or you remove an option for them. Yes?
Yes.
Be the State Department.
Okay.
Be the positive State Department.
I'll be the positive State Department. And what does that look like in this moment as we face or contemplate the possibility of some nuclear engagement with North Korea, for example?
Well, how exciting. Again, it's an opportunity to look at the conflictive beliefs within yourself that are fear-based and to come to terms with that and balance those things out. Then it doesn't matter what happens in someone else's reality. You will experience what you need to experience in your reality. Remember, you can still see other realities and you can still see consequences and results in other realities. That doesn't mean you're actually living in the reality, and it doesn't mean you'll be affected by what you're seeing through the glass wall that separates your parallel world from theirs just because you can see them.
I'm not afraid for myself.
It's all about resonance and it's all about vibration.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say that you're afraid for others, you are seeing them in a disempowered light.
That's right. That is what I'm doing. Yeah.
Stop doing that.
Yeah.
It doesn't help them.
Okay.
To see them as incapable of doing what is correct for them. And sometimes people will choose things that may seem the exact opposite of what you believe might actually be to their benefit. But you don't know what path they're on. And you don't know what process they may actually have chosen to go through in this life. You're not the end-all, be-all of knowing what is best for everyone else.
Of course, yeah.
So be the best example you can.
Yes.
And see who chooses to match that vibration.
Mm.
And know that those that don't are on another path, and see them as strong enough and indestructible enough to go through that path and learn whatever it is they deem they need to learn that way. It's possible they may simply not have the toolkit to do it any other way. But please remember, you are all eternal and infinite beings.
Yes.
There's no hurry.
Yes.
They don't learn it in one life, they'll learn it somewhere else.
Okay.
Yes?
That's
So